And we are live with Altered Moments on Good Friday afternoon. I'm Kimberly Stevens, and I'm your host, and welcome to Altered Moments on this Good Friday afternoon. I am so excited to share our next guest with you, Jeanne Mann. And before we get there, I just want to take a pause and remember that today is Good Friday. And if ever there is an altered moment, that would be on Good Friday afternoon, the day of all days when Jesus changed our lives forever for good. And I believe that God is still alive and well and changing lives today and every day, not just 2,000 years ago, but today and every day. Well, let's bring Jeanne to the stage. Jeanne, welcome. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Kimberly. It was actually such an awesome opportunity to meet you at our Sticker Shock Speaking Academy event. It was nothing short of amazing seeing you on stage and really just seeing your strength in the moments that you felt like you were defeated. It just further confirmed for me that I'm on the right path. I'm on the
Awesome.
right path. Yes.
And when you told me your story, I knew that we had to share it out live on Altered Moments. So I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you.
So,
I'm happy to be here.
for everyone who is joining us live, Jeanne is coming to us from San Antonio. And a couple little quick facts about her. She is the mother of three children. Tell us how old they are.
Yes, my oldest is 13, my middle is 5, and then my baby girl is 3.
Aw.
Yes.
And Danae has gone through several altered moments, and recently she left corporate America, and she's now working full time with the Daniel Gomez Enterprises, which is how we met a couple of weeks ago in San Antonio. So, Janae, tell us a little bit about that transition that you just made and why, and just a little bit more about that.
Yes. So my journey actually with that started, I would say maybe a year and 3-ish months ago. I really started to get really quiet. And I got quiet because I needed to go within. I had a great job working in corporate America. I was working at a car dealership for almost 11 years, and it was great. The money was great, but I didn't feel fulfilled. And I started to get really quiet. I started to go back with God, meditating, and just really loving myself in a way that nobody outside of me could love me. And in doing so, I started writing poetry again. I started journaling and I started writing my book. And I reached out to Daniel Gomez literally just to publish my book. That was it. And on that call, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. He saw a star in me, he saw the light and with me. And right then and there, he was like, yes, I want to help you with your book, but I want to offer you an opportunity. Like, come and join me. And since that day, I couldn't get it out of my head. I just knew like this was divine intervention. God was coming in, and here you've been asking for it, Jeanne. I'm giving it to you. Take it. So I did.
And how long have you been with them?
I've only been here for about a month, and I can tell you there has been so much change in the best way. So much elevation in the mindset and in my attitude and my confidence, the way that I walk, the way that I talk. It's, I know it's where I'm supposed to be.
I love this. I
Thank
love
you.
this. And when we were at Sticker Shock together, the energy in the room, the the Holy Spirit in the room,
Oh,
God was there,
yes.
and He was not only prompting us to tell stories about how He has changed our lives, but I believe He was literally changing lives in that room that day.
Oh man, yes. Yes. I don't think I've cried that much in a really long time. And I have to say, there's so much healing and feeling.
Tears are definitely healing and feeling.
Yes.
And so we've had Jared on to share his altered moment a couple of weeks ago. We have Joe from Sticker Shock coming this Tuesday.
Yes.
And today we have you.
Yes. And I'm so honored to be here.
So I just want to say welcome to Richard and anyone else who's viewing live. And if anyone is tuning in later on the replay, we welcome you too. And we're really excited that you're here. And Janae, tell us a little bit about where you were and what was happening in your life prior to your altered moment. And give us just a little context to the story that you're going to share with us today.
Okay. So it all happened like the symptoms really started to kick in with this brain condition that I have when I was 14 years old. And it was actually during a car accident that I was involved in with my mother and my sister. And I vividly remember the roof crashing down on us. You know, the truck was rolling and rolling, and I remember it hitting my head. And then before I knew it, I was on the ground. And that triggered all of the symptoms, like so much more after that. But in that crucial time, I'm 14 years old. I'm 14 years old. My mom ended up passing because of the accident.
Oh, wow.
I broke my femur. I had to move from a little ghost town. Literally, my school was K through 12, and it only had maybe 200 students in the entire school. And coming to San Antonio, living in an efficiency with my dad on the third floor with crutches because I broke my femur in half. And my sister, she
Wow.
was in coma. Yeah, it was a really big altered moment in my life, losing my mom. And
Definitely. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I feel like the more that I talk about it, the easier it is. And I understand on a different level.
Mm,
There's so much growth, and it's really choosing on how good or how bad it's going to be, even in the hard times. And with that, I really dealt with a lot of headaches, and I would fumble and stop and like fall. And, doctors would tell me, you're fine. They're just growing pains. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly healthy. And it wasn't until my first son, when I was actually giving birth to him in the hospital. And after I gave birth, I couldn't see out of one of my eyes. It was so blurry.
oh, wow.
It was so blurry. So they sent me for a CAT scan, and they found a huge mass in my head. They thought it was a tumor. So literally at that time, I just turned 23 years old, and I was by myself. And whew, my doctor was basically preparing me to die, and get in line with who you're going to leave your child with.
Oh,
It ended up being my pituitary gland. It just grew significantly larger than what it was supposed to. It was pressing up against my optic nerves. Everything would resolve itself, and then that was that. Then from there, as the years were passing on, I noticed, every time I would get sick with a sinus infection, a upper respiratory infection, and I would be coughing, sneezing, I would get these excruciating pains in the back of my head. It felt like somebody was taking an ice pick to the back of my head, and then the pain would just radiate forward. And
wow.
yeah, it was really bad. And then it progressed. And still, every time I would go to the doctor, I would explain this to my doctors. And at this time, I already have worked with different neurologists, endocrinologists, ophthalmologists, my regular my regular doctor, and everybody is saying you're fine. Everything is great. You're normal. It's just in your head. Maybe you're just suffering from migraines. Okay. You
Oh
know,
my gosh. And you
yeah,
were 23 and
yeah,
a new mom.
yes.
And that's hard.
It was hard. It was hard. So you get to a point to where everybody is telling me it's okay. I know inside I'm not okay,
Hmm.
but I just stopped talking about it. I stopped complaining about the pain and just learning how to deal with it on my own. And because I felt like a complainer, I felt like nobody heard me, nobody was listening. And eventually, fast forward, I end up, with my fiance. And a couple years later, we end up pregnant again. And I was pregnant with twins, lost one early on. So it was just him. There's another altered moment there, the grieving process within that. And again, it's like I'm dealing with this pain and nobody understands, but I don't have anybody to really talk about it with because there's nothing wrong with me. And then it ended up being from, okay, when the times that I was sick to now it's every day. Every day, it's as simple as picking up toys off the floor, picking up my baby, I would get a pain. If I sneeze, if I laugh too hard or too much, I'm getting a pain. And my instant reaction was to just throw my head back and breathe through it. And oh my goodness, I didn't know how to deal with it, but you have no choice but to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was so hard to deal with and knowing that nobody understood. I didn't know and I'm googling everything like what is this? What are the conditions for something like this? And I came across so many different things like I can't even pronounce it. I think it's singular my I don't know, it was something, but different brain defects. And it wasn't until I was pregnant now with my third. I'm pregnant now with my third, my baby girl. And I just found out that I was pregnant. I was about 5 weeks. And a week later, my my neurosurgeon at that time, she called me and told me, we found what it is. I had an MRI and you have a condition called Chiari malformation. And I was like, I knew it. I knew I had something. There's no way. And she told me right then and there is no cure for what you have. I do recommend as soon as possible for you to have a decompression surgery, a craniotomy. And I'm like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So basically, it's the removal of part of your skull to decompress the area to allow space for your brain. So the back of my brain, it connects to your spinal cord. Well, my brain was falling into the spinal cord, creating all that pressure. So anytime I would strain, literally coughing, sneezing, laughing, bending down, putting my hair in a towel, anything, I would get a pain. And it
Wow.
was debilitating. Like imagine trying to live your normal life, sweeping and mopping, picking up clothes off the floor or toys off the floor. And when you're with your girlfriends or your husband and you're laughing, like I would be scared to laugh. I didn't want to be around people or go to gatherings because I knew I was going to laugh and I was going to be in pain and nobody understood it.
Yeah.
It was a horrible time. And you feel so isolated and so alone during those times. So I knew I wasn't going to have surgery while being pregnant. Pregnancy was my first priority at that time. But after giving birth to her, and I had all my children naturally, so pushing, that's
Yes. Oh, I can't even imagine.
yes, that was God helped me through all that. God pushed for me. I can definitely say that because it was hard. It was hard, and without him, I couldn't have done it.
Wow.
So after I had my baby girl, I tried to follow back up with my neurosurgeon, and she dropped the insurance network that I was in. So now I'm in
Oh
search
no.
of
Yeah.
another doctor. Yes. So I find another doctor. Um, we just did not see eye to eye. He was very condescending, talked to me like I was a child. And every time I would go into an appointment with him, he would put his hand on my shoulder and say, "You have Chiari malformation." I'm like, I know this. I know this. I need help. Like, what is the next step? So, because of his recommendations, he decided that I needed a lumbar puncture just to see if I needed a shunt put in my brain because he thought maybe I also had cephalus, which is too much cerebral fluid in the brain. So if that was the case, then they would place the shunt in my brain, and basically it would divert the rest of the cerebral,
Yeah.
and my body would just normally absorb it. I went in for this lumbar puncture, and it was excruciating.
That's a spinal tap, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. It doesn't sound fun.
It was not fun. Literally, as soon as the doctors stuck that needle in, they hit so many nerves, and you can't move. You can't move. And it was painful. And literally, as soon as they started to take the cerebral fluid out, it was like the pain. The pain. And yet, again, I can't move. I can't do anything. And I got through it with God, and they told me, okay, you're going to be fine. Go home, lay flat, only get up to use the bathroom, have, your husband, your fiance bring you your food. In 24 hours, you'll be fine. 24 hours comes up, I'm not fine. The hole did not close. So I'm literally, every time I get up, like lay up in bed, the fluid is rushing out of
Oh my gosh.
and pain. Again, I'm literally crawling to the bathroom just to use the bathroom. I got to the point to where I was dehydrated, and I was like that for an entire week. I had to have medics come to the house to give me IV fluids because I was dehydrated. It was horrible. And it wasn't until a week later that I was able to go back in. And I did go to the ER in the middle of that, but there wasn't any doctor that was able to give me a blood patch in order to close the hole. So a week later, get the blood patch done and go back to a follow-up appointment with my neurosurgeon, and he tells me, well, you don't need a shunt in your brain, but you do need decompression surgery. At that point, I knew the trust wasn't there with that doctor. So I dropped him. I dropped him and I started looking for another neurosurgeon, and I found him, Dr. Bogave. And the moment I met him, I knew he was the one. Getting to a point in life where you feel like surgery is the best thing that you can do was a life altering moment for me. I knew I needed this surgery. Even though there is no cure for my condition, I needed relief. I knew this
Yeah.
wasn't the way that I wanted to live my life. And in connecting with Dr. Bogave, unlike a lot of other doctors actually shave half of your head down to make this big incision in the back of your head. He didn't do that with me. He literally went in the part of my hair.
Oh,
My incision actually looks very beautiful. He did an awesome job, and I'm so much better now compared to where I was. And reaching that point in my life where I knew something needed to change, I had to literally just give it up to God. I knew that going within this surgery, they told me, Janae, you may have to learn how to walk again, how to talk again,
oh my gosh.
how to do everything. And I have 3 kids at this time now. But I had to do it because I knew like I can't keep on doing this. I can't keep on living life in pain like this. It just wasn't there.
Yeah. So you take the step
So I took the
in
step
in faith.
in faith. Yes, exactly. And man, I get so emotional sometimes when I talk about this because I may end up reaching a point in life where I might have to have another decompression surgery. And I realize that there are so many things still that I have to deal with Chiari malformation, like memory.
Mm.
And memory is one of the things that I think scares me the most because I fear that one day I might wake up and I don't remember. What if I don't remember my kids? What if I don't remember who I am? And that's a scary thing. And I think that's the reason why I decided to choose myself and love myself in a way that nobody outside of me can do. And really let go and let God.
Make the most of every moment,
Yes,
right?
yes. I had to change the narrative of my story. I no longer wanted to be a victim of that. I have Chiari malformation. Chiari malformation does not have me.
I
And
love that. God has you.
yes, and God has me. And I just want to remind everybody in the world that you don't have to be in a place that you don't want to be. You have to let go and let God. Are you the victim in your life or are you the victor in your life? You have to take some type of control and some accountability for self and just love yourself. Love yourself, the self love that you're going to show yourself, and choosing God to carry you through it. He will. He will. And that's why I choose every single day. I don't know how it's going to happen, how it's going to work, but I move every single day in action towards it, allowing God to just carry me because He's never left my side. I'm the one that's left His side. And every single time, He's always right there. He's always right there waiting for me.
So well said. I heard an illustration years and years ago that I've never forgotten. And it was a married couple who had been married for a long time. And they were driving in the car, and the woman was sitting way far over on her side of the car, and the man was sitting way far over on his side of the car. And it was before the days of split seats. And they drove down the street, and they passed a young couple who was just goo goo in love. And the young couple was sitting practically on top of each other in this non split car seat.
Mhm.
And the woman looked at her husband and said, "Why don't we sit like that anymore?" And the husband said, "I haven't moved."
Oh, you just gave me chills.
And it's the same with God. And he doesn't move. He is there. And the whole purpose of telling our stories and talking about altered moments is so that we can have eyes to see and ears to hear that God is there, and He's changing lives in the same way He changed your life, and He has not moved. And I could not pass up your comment without sharing that story.
I
So
love
I
it.
apologize for interrupting you.
No, I actually I love that. And you literally gave me the chills because it's so true. He's never left my side, ever. And I knew early on that being in that energy that wasn't so bright wasn't an energy that I wanted to be in ever. I knew I wasn't meant to stay there. I knew it. I had to move in action. I had to deliver. And now, right now in this space that I'm in, I feel like I have a story. I need to speak. I need to share it. I need to help inspire the world.
Yes, and you said something in your bio that I really loved, and it was about taking your own tragedy, if you will,
Hmm.
turning it into triumph and using that story to inspire other people to do the same.
Yes.
And, I look at you and I see this beautiful young lady at 14 who was in a terrible car accident. You lost your mom. You suffered extreme physical um, pain, broken bones. A lot of people would have given up when they were 14, and you didn't. And
Yeah.
then you've gone through and had trial upon trial, and people who wouldn't listen to you, and possibly thinking you were crazy.
Yeah.
And yet, here you are because God didn't move.
Yes. Yes. It's so beautiful. And I think it's not even, I think, one of the things that I practice doing is being in gratitude for everything, even those bad things, because it really changes your perspective on life, on everything, on how you
Yeah.
live, how you speak, how literally every the choices that you make. I really I don't want to be that defeated little girl that something horrible happened. I want to show people that it's possible. You have a light within you.
And you are.
Yes. Thank you.
You are. What do you do? Talk a little bit about gratitude and how you bring that into your life every day. Because I'm sure as I see your smile, knowing what you've gone through, I know that you bring gratitude into your life every day.
I do. So, especially now in this season that I'm in, I usually end up waking up about 4:30 or 5, not because I want to. I really will say that it's God waking me up. And literally while I'm there in the dark, I say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for waking me up. I'm so blessed. I'm so abundant. And I just keep on going until I fall asleep again. That's number one. I do that until I fall asleep. And then
Wow.
when it's time to get up, I today's my day. Today is great. I am amazing. I am abundant. I'm abundantly blessed. I have the voice to be able to speak. I just say all these different affirmations to myself. And another thing that I do is I write in my mirror at night. And so the mirror in my bathroom at night when I take a shower and it gets all foggy, I write on my mirror every single night. I put anything and everything on there that comes to mind. Like I am spiritually guided. God holds my hand every single day. I am a millionaire. I am inspired. I am inspiring. I I love that I'm an author. I love that I am able to help millions and millions of people. People are attracted to me every single day and I do this like throughout the day. I'll say it in my head or after I get off of a call, I'll say it. Another thing I do, I go to the park a lot just to stay quiet and I'll sit in the grass by the water and I imagine that there are roots coming out of my feet, entering the earth and going all the way down through each and every single layer, wrapping around the earth's core. And that is Mother Gaia. And I feel like with me doing that, I'm giving her so much love and she is reciprocating the same. And in this way, I'm able to recenter myself and just let the stresses of the day go. And I just thank God for that opportunity because He gave me this earth to be able to do something like that. He gave me the sunshine that comes and shines down on me, the rain to wash away everything, just like my tears. So those are the little things that I do. And in those moments I'm just so in the feeling of gratitude, not just saying I thank you, but actually feeling it.
Feeling it is key. When you were talking earlier about making the decision to go forward with surgery,
Hmm.
you took me right back to one of my own altered moments, which was making a decision for my daughter to have a liver transplant. And it was the same type of decision, right? Either try to survive with your circumstances as they are, or take a step forward in faith. And as you were sharing, it took me right back there. And I remembered exactly what you said is I knew that God was calling my daughter forward and that as her mother, that having the transplant was the right decision. And I know we're coming up on 30 minutes here, but I was just thinking about how each and every day, as you continue to work through and deal with circumstances that are not curable,
Hmm.
you make that decision again every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, to, as you said, let go and let God. And then you watch Him show up and
Yeah.
bring the sunshine into your life and the rain to wash you, as you said. And thank you. It's so inspiring to hear you say all of this with your radiating smile.
Thank you.
And there were many of us who could not do this. And you are such an example. And thank you.
I appreciate you so much, Kimberly. It really, really is an honor to be here and to share this moment with you. I feel the connection is so deep, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're both on this mission to just share and inspire the world that they have a choice. You have a choice every single day. It can be the worst day or it can be the best day. I'm not promised tomorrow. And for me, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it. Whatever that means, I'm going to go do it. And nobody's going to tell me that I can't. Nobody is going to stand in my way. And the most important thing is, I am not going to stand in my own way.
Oh, that is so good. So good.
Yes.
Yes. Well, does anybody who's listening have any questions or comments? I know Stephanie said this is a good Friday for her. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yes.
And Richard was in awe of you and your comments. Um, doesn't seem like we have any more questions or comments. So, do you have any final conclusions that you would want to leave with us today on this Good Friday, the
On
most life altering day that there could possibly be?
yes.
Um, do you
I
have any final thoughts?
I would say that choosing to find your light within and really changing the narrative of your story and letting go of that victim mindset and really being the victor in your own life and
Mhm.
allowing God to just allow Him to carry you. Trust Him because He's never left your side. Find that light within, it's there.
Amen and amen.
Amen.
And
Thank you.
thank you.
I
And
appreciate you.
my final thought would just be that we all experience moments where we feel like victims. And if you need an altered moment, God has not moved. God has not. moved.
Mm.
And I would encourage anybody listening today, if you need an altered moment, have that conversation with God that Janae had, that I've had so many times. Ask Him for eyes to see and ears to hear His work in your life. And that is a conversation He promises to answer. He promises to answer, and He promises He has not moved. And wow, He will bring an altered moment into your life as well.
Yes, he will.
Wow, I don't even know how to say goodbye to you.
I
Um,
know.
maybe we'll say until next time.
Until next time.
Until
Yes.
next time. And hopefully that's very soon.
Yes, most definitely. It will be. I feel it.
I love that. I
Yes.
want to wish everybody who's listening a very happy Easter and a meaningful and holy Good Friday. And we'll see you on Tuesday, same time, 1 p.m. And until then, have a wonderful, wonderful holy weekend.
Yes.
And with that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday.